Did you know the clothes you wear impact how you perform as a leader? And they impact how others interact with you as well. I remember from my Catholic school days being told that uniforms were worn for a couple of different reasons. One, they helped to level set students from different socioeconomic levels. And second, students who wore uniforms behaved better and performed better in their classes. There's been research done on this. I couldn't fathom it, but okay. You'd think we would move past having our clothing impact our performance, but it's not the case. There has now also been research done on adults. The clothing we wear impacts our ability to focus and also impacts how others interact with us. Now, you probably noticed your performance being impacted, especially during the pandemic, if you were in a job that allowed you to work remotely. Like when you didn't shower and maybe stayed in your pajamas, your work was probably not as on point, or you probably didn't feel as productive. We started noticing that it did make a difference to get up, take a shower, and at the very least, wear a nice top and, all of that stuff. To chat more about this, I'm bringing back Jenny Eversole from Style Space. Jenny originally appeared in episode 466, Elevate Your Style, Simplify Your Routine, and Save Money. In that episode, Jenny and I chatted about how fashion changed during the pandemic. We talked about hybrid dressing, right? Styling for the office versus Zoom. I chatted about working with Tammy Lugo, one of the stylists at Style Space, and some takeaway tips that anyone could apply right away. Well, Jenny is back with Tammy Lugo, that stylist I worked with from Style Space, and we are taking that original conversation to the next level. We're going to discuss how a woman's clothing can support her as a leader and play a role in achieving her goals. If you are new to the Women Taking the Lead podcast, hello and welcome. I'm Jody Flynn, and I'm the CEO and founder of Women Taking the Lead. It's a leadership development company that works with individuals, organizations, and boards to close the performance gap by attracting, developing, and successfully promoting more women into senior levels of leadership. These benefits are realized through coaching, consulting, leadership development programs, and keynotes. If we are not already connected on LinkedIn, please send me an invitation to connect. You can find me directly at linkedin.com/in/Jody Flynn, or you can search on the platform for Jody Flynn. I'm very active on LinkedIn, so I should be at or near the top of your search results. Be sure to add a note to the invitation letting me know you're a listener of the podcast. I would love to connect with you and get to know you better. Welcome to the Women Taking the Lead podcast, Jenny and Tammy. Tammy, you are new here today, so tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you're up to in the world.
Hi, I'm so excited to be on. Yes, I'm a fashion wardrobe consultant. I've been doing this for 13 years now, and that's basically my main bread and butter. I love it. I have a passion for working with women one-on-one, helping them transform their outlook from the inside out and from their exterior into style and fashion, and just helping them with their walks in whatever place they're at in life. So that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. And I have more to say about that in a little bit. But Jenny, catch us up. How have you been? What are you up to in the world today? And how is Style Space doing?
Hey, Jody. Thank you so much for having us back on. It is such an honor to be here again. We had such a great time last time talking about personal style, and we're really excited to talk about how you can develop that personal brand in a working environment. So for those people who did not hear the last episode, Style Space is the company that I founded, and we are on a mission to help people become the best versions of themselves with personal style. We offer online style consults with stylists like Tammy, and we do this in clothing, hair, makeup, and skincare.
I'm thrilled. I briefly caught everyone up on what we talked about in our last episode before we jumped on here. Now we're taking that conversation to that next level, right? We're like, take two, here we go. And I'm particularly interested in how a woman's clothing can support her as a leader and play a role in achieving her goals. I don't think sometimes people yes, everyone wants to look good and feel good in their clothing, but what does that mean when we're a leader? How can our clothing help us in that role and achieving our goals?
Yeah, well, clothing basically is an outlet, a tool for expression. You can tell people what your leadership style is, who you are, what you are about by the clothing that you wear. Without even opening your mouth, you are expressing who you are. And that plays so much into your personal style brand and how that plays into the corporation that you are working with. Do you want to add some more, Tammy?
That is totally correct. And what you wear definitely shows who you are and where you want to go in life. So when it comes to leadership, the workplace, being successful in that, you definitely have to start somewhere, right? Everybody has to start somewhere, and you have to know the foundations of that, which is most importantly, dressing your body type. As knowing how to dress the body type that you're in and the shape that you have now, and accepting that is going to be the beginning of the new journey to your new style for that, for that role or the one that you already have, basically. So different body types. I mean, we all come in all shapes and sizes. That would be from tall to petite, curvier, fuller, slimmer, but we all have a body type within that range. Like you could be, and I don't like using the terms of shapes or fruits how other stylists use it, but it's the only way.
It's the like pears or apples. Yes. I hate to say it, but it's right there and we're all thinking it.
I don't like using those terms, but it's the only way that we can visualize what it looks like in our shape. And it's not so much about size either. Whether you're a size 12, 14, 10, 8, 6, still going to be that same body type. So if you have narrow shoulders and smaller hips or larger hips, broader shoulders, and a small waistline, a long torso, very long legs, very short torso, very, very short legs, there's going to be all those different shapes and silhouettes. So what I usually tell my clients is just focus on your silhouette. That is what you should be looking at when you're getting dressed. So when you stand in front of the mirror, try to take your eyes off of your body, off of the parts that you don't like. It's all about your silhouette. So the number one goal is to look like an hourglass, which is something that I shared with you, I believe, Jody, when I styled you, was the hourglass shape. That is what we all women strive for, and that's obviously the perfectly balanced shape. So how do we dress that? That's what you'll learn when you talk with a stylist. How do you dress and create that hourglass shape, regardless of the body that you have? And that will then enhance the shape that you have and enhance your silhouette and beautify it. And, you can draw the parts that you want to draw or hide the parts that you want to hide. So it's basically just taking fashion and manipulating it to make yourself feel pretty, to make yourself look pretty, better, and then enhance that. So knowing that is going to help you with your, starting out that journey with your style. And then it's going to lead to how you're going to implement that into your work, whether it's at home or whether it's in the office or where you want to go in the workplace.
I love how you're starting with the very basics. Like, let's start here. And, I have yet to meet a woman who says, I love my body. I love my body exactly the way it is. I would change nothing. It would be great if we were all there, but I think most of us are feeling this like, I wish I was taller. I wish I was shorter. I wish I was this, that, the other thing, or whatever the current trend is. But it's not about, and what I love about your approach, it's not about trying to change your body. Like, it's not like, oh, if you could lose 10 pounds and you could get into this style, or if you could XYZ. That's not the goal here. The goal is working with what you have. So accepting what you have, you are here, now let's work with it. So rather than trying to get an hourglass body, you are striving towards an hourglass silhouette. And there are things that can be done that can help you get there.
Exactly.
And you don't have to lose any weight or change the shape of your body.
Exactly. You nailed it.
So tell us more about that and how, creating this silhouette impacts how you feel on the inside too. Cause I think you spoke to that initially, is like trying to take what's on the inside and bring it out.
Yes. So taking that, let's just say, for example, you are a very outgoing personality. How are you going to portray that with what you're wearing? Maybe you're a little bit of a more serious, in the workplace. Maybe you're a more serious type of employee or leader, or maybe you're a very friendly person. How are you going to bring out all of these characteristics and personalities into that wardrobe, into that outfit? And it's actually very simple. I know that, like, maybe listening to this may be like a lot of information being downloaded at you, but it's actually very simple once you start practicing that. You just take the guidelines and just start using them and tweaking them to your shape, obviously, and to your lifestyle.
And you guys have something that helps someone identify what their body type is, right? Because someone might be sitting here going, well, what do they mean by that? Like, what are the body types and how do I figure that out?
Yeah. On our website, if you go to the top of our page, it says 5 steps to your dream style. And you can download this free guide and it will walk you step by step, like, what is your body type and how do you achieve the ideal proportions and start building that defined style.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And what does that do for somebody when, like we can kind of jump there, like, oh yeah, if I'm dressing my style, like clothing will look good on me, I'll feel better, that sort of thing. But I know there's so many more benefits to dressing your style, especially when it comes to being in leadership, in the workplace. Like, what are the benefits of dressing to your body type?
Definitely important to feel comfortable, to feel like you don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, what does my jacket look like? What does this blazer? What does this skirt look like right now? If you feel comfortable in what you're wearing, you're definitely going to feel confident. If you have to stand in front of a crowd of people and speak publicly, or maybe you just have to sit in front of a Zoom call, but if you're not fidgeting with your clothes and you know that it fits perfectly, that it looks perfect for you, that's going to give you the confidence that you need to, carry on with, get it done, whatever it is that you need to do, be productive or speak. That's what's going to do it for you, when you just don't have to worry about, like, how do I look? Because that's always like in the subconscious of our minds, especially us girls, as women, we just the little things that we worry about,
Mm-hmm.
And it's good to like have one less thing to worry about.
Oh, for sure. And worry, like I tell my clients all the time, like worry burns energy. Like when we are burning energy with worry, we're taking that energy away from other things that we could be putting it towards. And I can speak to personal experience after our session, Tammy, starting to wear clothes that were already in my closet, right? But not exactly paired up in a way that really suited my body type. You know, I was definitely not feeling confident about my clothes, feeling like I need to start my wardrobe over from scratch, but I ain't got the money for that, right? Money's going other places right now, like higher priority things. My closet was not the highest priority at that point, but I knew it was impacting how I felt, especially coming out of the pandemic. I was like, what are people even wearing anymore? I've been wearing yoga pants for like 3 years. Like, what do I do now? I definitely had that experience of like, oh, I look good. This looks good. I can walk out of this house. I can get up in front of people. And I did. And I got compliments and, you know, you look great and all this stuff. And it was just from selecting clothing in my closet that was already there, that were suited to my body type. And then added not a whole new closet, but a couple more pieces, like took some pieces out, like, okay, this isn't going to go with anything. This does not do my body any justice, but maybe adding a few pieces here and there where it was like, this complements the clothing I have in my closet that fits my body type. So that was amazing. And so that's about how our clothing is making us feel. Can we talk now about the impact our full presentation has on other people, right? When we're dressing to our body type, how does that impact others that we're interacting with?
Oh, it impacts actually a lot more than we think. And many of us didn't know that. Like I didn't know that when I first started. I didn't know what it really did for someone when your image, you know, is kind of like think of a mirage. You know, your image can be a mirage. It can tell someone whatever you want to tell them. You know, so when they see you for the very first time and you have just a few seconds, you know, for them to get an impression of you, that's how largely it impacts in, like, when we're talking about colors is one of the main ones, you know, colors, and even interior designers, you know, home decorators will also tell you about the impact that colors have. But it also applies to fashion and style. Colors like, and I'll just give you a few of the colors, like blue. You know, blue is a very knowledgeable color. It's a color that portrays wisdom, knowledge, professionalism. Red is a color that portrays power, confidence, and strong-willed women love to wear red. Yellow is a color that gives a message of friendliness, welcoming, inviting. You know, you have a very easygoing, fun personality. So does green, and so does like the other colors like teal. Those colors are also creative. So if you are creative in the workplace, those are great colors to, you know, incorporate into your outfits and your wardrobe, because it will give the message that that's who you are. You know, you're a creative mind. And then you've got your pinks. Pink is a confident color. I say this a lot to male clients that I have, that wearing a pink shirt will do a lot for them, believe it or not, because it really shows to the other person, whether they're female or male, that they are confident. And if you're confident enough to wear pink, you're a confident person, especially as a guy. But for women, it's also a confident color. It's both, it's not as soft as we may think, you know. It's feminine, but it's also strong. And then you've got white. Obviously, we all know brides wear white. And so it means purity, but it also means that you're ready for a new chapter. So if you're ready for that new promotion that you just got, you know, you might want to start on your first day with wearing a nice, fresh, crisp white blazer. So, you're just kind of showing your colleagues and your employees that you're ready. You're ready for new innovation, ready for new ideas and things like that. So that's the message that colors give off, just like being dressed clean and appropriate and polished, that gives a message like, wow, this lady cares about who she is. She knows who she is. She knows where she stands, and she cares about herself as just as much as this job. She cares and represents the company well, and so it does so much psychologically for someone who is in a leadership role or wants to be in a leadership role or wants to succeed anywhere, period.
People will see your clothes before, the first thing before you've had a chance to talk. And Jenny, I wanted to get your thoughts on everything.
Yeah, I would just say that people are the representations of a company. And yes, a company has a culture, it has a dress code, but you are the individual bringing that message to other people and making sure that image is most polished and reflective of who you are as a person and your values. That is going to carry over and create an authentic bond with your clients that you're interacting with, your coworkers, your team members.
Yes. And I know, I'll probably say something that a lot of people are thinking, especially women who, like to be a little more low maintenance, right? They're like, I don't want to spend, an hour and a half, like doing my hair, doing my makeup, picking out an outfit, that sort of thing. And it's not about having to go to the nines, right? And like putting together this like, wow outfit every single day. It's really about, choosing clothing that feels right to you and your personality. But like you were saying, like that are polished, that are put together, like, they're clean, they're ironed, like they complement your body in a way that, people can tell you put some thought into how you were going to show up today. You didn't just pull something out of the closet, throw your hair in a ponytail and show up for work.
Exactly. It doesn't take $1 million to iron a shirt. That's simple. Just iron the shirt, make sure that there's no wrinkles, make sure that there's no tears, holes, as long as it's clean and streamlined and it's enhancing that silhouette again, you're good to go. It's just that it can be that easy.
Yes. And you're pointing to just some simple ways that someone can just be a little more polished, right? Like it doesn't have to be like designer clothing. It doesn't have to be dry cleaning all the time. Cause I know some people are like dry cleaning is super, can be super pricey if you're going to have all sorts of outfits that need to be dry cleaned every week. There are just some simple things that you can do that, just uplift, your overall look. And send a message to people like, I know what I'm doing. I've got my act together. You can trust me.
You're so right.
I don't know about you, but I have discovered amazing music, books, TV shows, movies, restaurants, and podcasts for sure, because a friend or colleague told me about it. Our network, made up of friends, family, colleagues, and acquaintances, are a vital source of information and access to resources for us. If you find the content and suggestions from this podcast valuable, could you do me a huge favor? Could you share it with a friend or colleague? Typically, the best way to share a podcast is to share a specific episode that made you think of the other person. You can share an episode right from your podcast app, or you can send the link to the webpage found in the episode description. My goal is to help millions of women to grow and feel calm and confident in their leadership. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping me to do this. And I thank you for helping the woman in your life be the confident leader she is meant to be by introducing her to this podcast. So thank you. anything else you would add about like the importance of how you style yourself when you do want to exude that confidence and, that leadership that people would want to follow?
Yes, definitely. I would say that if you are doubting, if you're uncertain, it's always good to get advice from someone who knows. Because if you're uncertain about, or you don't feel confident about what you're wearing, then it's going to reflect. It's going to reflect in how you speak and how you carry yourself and in how you lead. So that would be a great something, just a note to keep in mind when you're preparing your wardrobe or preparing yourself for going into the workplace. Um, I would say also if you're at home, and you have to do that Zoom call or you work mostly from home and you just are not you didn't wake up in the best mood that morning. It makes a big difference when you make an effort to dress up a little bit, even just a little bit, or to just get that polished casual outfit put together, because it's gonna show in your productivity as well. So those are things to keep in mind when you're gonna, when you want to succeed, or when you want to get that promotion, so to speak.
Yeah. I mean, some people use the expression fake it till you make it, which I don't particularly like because I don't think it's about faking it. It's more show up how you want people to receive you.
Yes.
Right. Like you said, just that like a little bit of like business casual so that people are taking you seriously and interacting with you in a serious way, can make all the difference.
Yeah, you'd be surprised. I have gotten a lot of moms who stay at home, not stay at home, but work at home. And they say to me that they tend to get up and just start working in their PJs. But then by, let's say, 11 a.m. in the morning, they're feeling really, really groggy. They're feeling unproductive. They're feeling lazy. It gets really hard to get through the day. Maybe if you dress up, that would change. That would say, it tells your mind, hey, it turns that switch. Say, hey, I'm ready to get it done. I'm ready to work. I'm ready to start my day. And I want to make it intentional. I want to work intentionally. And I want to succeed at even the smallest things, because to certain companies, even the smallest jobs matter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to segue into a new thing too, because I often had this issue as well. Is I didn't enjoy shopping because I would go into stores and couldn't find anything I liked. And if I found something I liked and I tried it on, it just didn't look the way like it looked great on the mannequin, or in my mind, I pictured it. No, that's not how it looked when I got into the dressing room. Do you have tips for women in how to approach shopping so that it's a more enjoyable experience?
Yes, always. Number one, make a list of what you're looking for. It can get really overwhelming, especially in department stores. When you have so many options thrown at you, it can get overwhelming. So make a list of the specific items that you're looking for and stick to that. That'll give you like blinders when you're walking into the store, and you won't lose focus. And you also won't waste your time with things that probably you don't even need. But then again, go in with a positive mindset. And if you're a bargain shopper, number two, if you're a bargain shopper, make sure that you have maybe your coupons, your discount notifications ready to use, and go to those places that are within your budget, obviously. And again, with that list. So when you're trying on your clothing, again, shift your mindset. Focus on your silhouette. Don't focus so much on your flaws, on the things you hate about yourself. Just focus on your silhouette and make sure that whatever piece you're trying on, it's fitting you the way it should. And always keep in mind, do I really need it? What am I going to use it for? How you're going to style it, if it's a key piece to your wardrobe, for example, your black slacks, use make sure okay, I've got items at home that I can style these pants with. So these would be a good buy, you know? So keep those things in mind, that they will also maximize your wardrobe, because going out and just picking out a bunch of trendy tops that you're not going to wear, it would be a waste of time. But if you know that you can pair that trendy top with a really nice jacket, that's a different story. So
oh, sorry, Tammy, keep going.
No, I'm done.
Because I was going to say, I know that's a service that Style Space provides, is helping to identify what are those missing pieces in your closet. And if you have a hard time finding those pieces, you can help to hunt them down and make them easier to buy.
That's right. Style Space will help you with that.
Very cool. Anything you want to add, Jenny, in what we've been talking about thus far?
I would say don't focus so much on your size either. As Tammy said, know your general measurements, like your inseam and your waist and your bust and your hip measurements, because that will really streamline the process when you're looking at the size guides. But keep in mind, each brand will fit you differently. Even each line of clothing within that brand will fit you differently. So be sure to try up and down different sizes. Grab a whole range of sizes when you go to the change room, or order several sizes to try on first. And then once you really know your size in that brand, then you're good to go and you can blindly order knowing your size.
Yes. Yeah. Good tips to have. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, especially when shopping online too.
Yes. That used to be my frustration, where I knew what my size was when I shopped at the particular stores that I like to shop at, but they're not all the same. You really need to know your measurements, and you need to look at the size chart at every, if you're on a new website, look at what their size chart is for the particular clothing. Now, one thing I wanted to bring to you, we talked a little bit about it in our last episode, Jenny, but this is something that keeps coming up, especially probably because I talk to a lot of women who are newly promoted or have taken on new roles, where sometimes, especially I'm thinking of one person in particular who said, when she was, before her latest promotion, she was able to talk easily with everyone on the team and, across divisions and all of that. And then all of a sudden she got promoted and people were a little more reserved around her, which is what can happen. People are like, oh, you're like that manager now, or you have that title now. So now we have to interact differently. How can clothing help these women to, convey approachability, right? Because they're heartbroken because they're like, I haven't changed. My title changed. I haven't changed. I'm still the same person, but now I'm dealing with almost this wall that is being put up between me and other people. How can clothing help them with that?
I would say use the message of color to your advantage. Use that to your advantage. Like I said, maybe more creative, friendly colors, inviting colors like the pink, the yellows, the teals, the greens. Those colors would work to your benefit, because they're going to give off that message that, okay, she's not frigid. She's not here to take control and boss everybody around and manage everything or micromanage. She's here to lead us as the team that we are. That would be the message that would send. And also, you can keep it relaxed. Like I said, as long as it's polished, as long as you're clean, crisp, and polished, and it fits you well, keep it relaxed. Maybe just a button down blouse. And if you're at home, obviously you're probably going to be wearing jeans. So just keep the overall look a little bit more relaxed. If you're going into the office, but it doesn't require you to speak in front of people or be in front of people all the time, then you can go with a more business casual style, and that will also it'll also make people around you feel slightly more comfortable, and you'll also be more approachable in that way. If you have that bubbly, outgoing personality, don't hide it because you're in a lead role. That should be like one of the characteristics that you play up the most, is that bubbly, outgoing personality, because there's nothing I think that there's nothing that anyone would be afraid of approaching. When you have that type of personality, people are drawn to you automatically. Mm-hmm. So play into that, lean into that, with your style and what you wear, because that's really going to help you get further. And if you're not that personality, then still continue to use the colors and to use your style to make yourself approachable. For one, was very introverted when I first started this business. And then in the beginning, I was like, I don't know why I decided that I wanted to be a stylist when I'm so introverted. But it really stretched me. It really stretched me and pushed my limits to where now I can at least get on this podcast.
Welcome.
But it really does help. It really, really does make a huge difference when you're approachable. Because especially for an introverted personality as well, knowing that people are coming to you gives you more confidence, and it makes you feel better. Okay, I'm doing this right. I'm doing it right.
Yeah.
That kind of feeling. And you're more approachable.
I really want to underscore some of the things you've said, Tammy, too, because when you're wearing clothing that is suited to you and suited to your body, right? Because what makes us uncomfortable? It's when our clothing is gripping us in places we don't want it to grip us, or it's falling in a way that is not flattering to us. Like when we look in the mirror, we want to be like, "Ooh, you look good." And when you look, that whole thing, when you look good, you feel good, right? At the very least, you feel more relaxed because you're not fighting against your clothes, and you're not trying to stay in postures that keep your clothing from overtaking,
exactly,
your appearance. And then you're more approachable too. And I would also say for you, Tammy, just from my experience, it's like own your personality and play to your strengths. Because one of the things that I've shared with everybody that was so enjoyable, you're introverted, and you're relaxed, right? You're not that, you don't come off as that super bubbly person. You're laid back, you're easygoing. In my styling session, that was an absolute strength for you, because it made me feel relaxed. Right. If you had been super bubbly and super excited, I was already kind of nervous going into the call. It probably would have agitated my nervous system. I would have been like, oh God, this is too much. In that moment, I would say, or on that call, it was really great to have somebody who was just like, okay, welcome. Here's what we're going to do today. And it was just like, oh, okay, this is not like a big deal. This is relaxing. This feels good. We went through my closet. So, I really want to just point to we think leaders are supposed to be charismatic and have it all together and be super decisive and confident, but that's not always what is needed, and trust that your authentic leadership style will come forward when you are relaxed, right? And you feel good, and it will be exactly what the situation needs.
Yes, exactly. And you'd be surprised that like you don't have to, again, back to the worry about how you look. When you don't have to worry about how you look, you're not worrying about, oh my God, keep that person at a distance. I don't want her to notice the tear in my pants or something like that, you know? So it really does help. You're so right, Jody.
Mm-hmm. And Jenny, what do you want to add? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say back to playing to those personal strengths as a leader. And I touched on this on the last podcast that we talked about, but if you can identify what those personal strength words are to you, you can incorporate that into your style. For example, if you are a confident, creative, and a chic person, you can actually type in chic, creative, confident style into Pinterest, and it will pull up all these different images that you can start pinning and saying, yes, that looks like me. No, that does not look like me. Build a board that is aspirational to what your future style is. And it might be reflective of what you have now or something that you aspire to and that you build upon. You don't get great style just overnight. People aren't just born with this. This is a muscle that we exercise and become better at. And eventually it merges into everything in our lives, whether it's our leadership style, our day-to-day. And yeah, it's a great expression tool.
Yeah. And to add to that, Jenny, that's one of the things I love about Style Space is that you'll always have the ability to come back to that stylist and she'll be like your friend in fashion, you know, like you'll always have that go-to person that will help encourage and it will coach you through, you know, whatever you might be struggling with your personal style. So that's the beauty of Style Space too, that you can always have it's accessible anywhere, anytime.
You're that go-to friend.
Yes.
I totally agree. Our stylists are incredible and yeah, they really are your style confident and yeah, it's great.
Anything else you would add when it comes to styling and women in leadership that we might have missed at this point?
I would just add or end with, don't be afraid to express who you truly are to other people. Be bold, be confident, be you, bring your whole self to work and incorporate that personal side of you into the company that you work in.
And I would add that just like McDonald's or the Chick-fil-A, these are brands that everybody knows at home. You can be memorable. You can be remembered because of how you dress at your workplace, you know, in your company. You are your own personal brand. So again, do not be afraid to take that leap and consult with a stylist, do it. Because if you're just thinking about it, why wait? You know, become that person that will be remembered because you look the part, you know, or because you want that other part.
And keep in mind the bigger role you play at work, the higher level you are in leadership, the more visible you are as well. And I used to have a friend who used to do promotional products, and he used to talk all the time about being top of mind. But it makes me think, like, you want to be top of mind for the right reasons, right? And for good things. Like, is fashion the only thing you'll be top of mind for? No, but it's that one little extra where it's like, who can we trust to deliver this presentation for the senior leadership team? Well, this person always looks put together, right? They always come across that way. Like, your clothing can send that message for you as well. It's a component of the entire package, but you want it to support you rather than hold you back.
Absolutely. It's one of the many resources and tools that we can have in our kit for success.
100%. Thank you both so much for taking the time with us. Where can everyone find you and find out more about Style Space and getting their own style sessions?
So if you go to stylespace.com, that is where you can find Tammy specifically, or any of our other 50 styling sessions that are offered on our website. Also, if you are an employee resource group leader, we would love to talk to you as well, because we offer styling to corporations as a tool for your entire team. And thanks again, Jody and Tammy, for joining this podcast. It's just been so incredible to have this conversation again with your community.
Yes. And as I said in the beginning, like, your episode was one of the most popular episodes we'd had in a long time. It was so timely. And who doesn't love talking about clothing and fashion? Or at least that's my opinion.
Totally. It's been my pleasure. I enjoyed this. This was great. Thank you, Jody, for having it. And thanks, Jenny, for inviting me.
Thanks, Jody.
What were your takeaways from my conversation with Jenny and Tammy? Have you observed that your clothing is either working for you or against you based on whether your clothing suits your personality and your body type? Head over to LinkedIn to share your thoughts and takeaways on the post corresponding to this episode. And also, Jenny and Tammy generously shared that you can get 10% off a styling session using discount code WTL10. So head over to stylespace.com, pick your session, and use discount code WTL10, that's WTL10 at checkout. And just so you know, Tammy's style sessions are Shop Your Closet and the Style Update. You can find the links to those sessions in your podcast app if you're listening through a mobile device, or towards the bottom of the webpage if you are on the Women Taking the Lead website. And as always, I hope this was of value to you, and here's to your success.